So one of the questions that I got was, what is toner and how does it work? So I want to explain that a little bit to the best of my ability. It's a little complicated, but I'm going to try to break it down and simplify it. So to start, it's important to understand when we're determining what color your hair is, there's two considerations. And one is the level of hair, which levels go from 1 to 10, which I'll show you here in a second. And then the tone is either warm or cool. And so I'm going to explain, this is a swatch chart for the different levels. I'm a level 1 over here, which is the darkest, and it goes all the way up to the lightest of a level 11. 11 is completely devoid of hair color. That's not usually found in natural hair color, but level like 9 and 10 up through here. So you can see these are all neutral colored hair colors. So then the second thing to consider is the tone. For instance, the tone of my hair is cool. I do that by adding a cool tone to it, which is it's a blue that I add to change the tone. So to that regard, I'm going to show you the color wheel, and the toner will make more sense when we talk in that regard. So if you are an artist or a hairdresser, you're familiar with the color wheel. So everything from the yellow through the red are the warm tones, and everything from the lavender around to the green are the cool tones. And in natural hair, you will find warm tones. And I'm going to show you how that works in just a minute. Keep this in mind. We're going to come back to this in a second. So, flip side of this, when you start to remove hair color from hair, it's left with the undertone colors to it, which is the tone. And all of them are warm in natural hair color. So this is the opposite, like the underlying tone of a level 3 is this red here. So as you start taking, like when I bleach my hair to put my blue, I don't have them in right now, but my blue highlights, I start lightening it, and then this is what it looks like underneath, this red. And then as I lighten, as it gets lighter and lighter, these are the undertone that is exposed. So when you get up to like a level 7, it's kind of orangish-y, and we take it as we get to a 9 and 10, it doesn't lighten like these nice natural colors. It leaves you with this warmth undertone. So when you get to a 9, this is about where we lift you when we lighten you with bleach. We get about here, and you can see it's kind of a yellowy, kind of orangey even, like right in through here of these colors. And so when we use a toner, that's what we're doing, is we're trying to control these warmths. And more times than not, we use a cool color. Now, cool colors aren't found naturally in nature. So since we don't have those colors, you have to use artificial colors. And so a couple things, toners, first of all, a toner color that we use is a demi-permanent color, so it's not very pigmented, and the whole point is to just barely tweak that color. You don't want to put purple over top of yellow, bright purple, because it'll turn purple. But if you do it in the same density as the density that you have, just a subtle lavender will tone that out a little bit. So let me show you exactly how the tones. So say you get to like we lift your hair, I lighten your hair till level 9, like here, and you've got this yellowy undertone. It's very popular to use lavender to overcome that, kind of a light shade of lavender. And if I lift it to a level 9, it's important to tone on tone. So you want to use the same level 9. And if I only got you to an 8, which is here, you can see it has a little bit of orangey to it. And if you remember from the color chart, the opposite of orange actually when you're here is blue. So, and the purple and the blue can kind of get mixed in together. And that brings me to the color that I use to tone out quite a bit, and that is the GI series. It's a gold iridescent. And the reason I like it is, as you saw, it kind of had an orange yellow color to it. Iridescent has blue and purple in it. And so it really covers both of those underlying tones to pretty pretty good degree. And it also has a little bit of gold because you want to put some of that warmth in there. The warmth is what gives it variance. When you use your purple shampoo, some of you, if you have blonde hair, if you use your purple shampoo too often when it's not presenting with a yellow color, it'll start to turn it to look gray, which is what a light shade of lavender is. So it's important to make sure that you understand what it is you're starting with and what your goal is, and then what color to use to get there. So, but one thing that I do quite often is more than, it's called a toner. We use the same products, but it's really more of a glaze. And so what I like to do when somebody wants a really cool tone, because cool tones are popular right now, like a brown that has more of a purple undertone than it does a red undertone, is to lighten your hair all the way up through all of these colors and get it light, and then you can put a darker color over top of that. You can't put a lighter tone on a dark color, but you can put a dark tone on a light color. That's just because it's easier to make it darker. You can't make it lighter with just color, not for toners. So let's say you wanted to, you have, oh, I don't know, you come in and you've got a level 3 hair color and you want to have this rose, where's that rose color? Oh, here it is. You want this pretty rose color here. This is kind of a blush color. So that's not a color you find in nature, but that's also a level 9. So you couldn't lift it to a level 8 and put that over top and it would do anything. It would just be murky. You would have to get it all the way. I would recommend lifting it to a level 10 and then putting the toner in of that blush color, and so that would cover over top of it. So the thing about it is, since cool colors are purple, green, and blue, those are not natural colors. And so consequently, they have large molecules. They don't go on the interior of your hair, they sit on the outside of your hair. So while they do a nice job of toning your hair color, these semi-permanent colors that we use to tone with are a mix of those direct dyes that tone out your hair color, but they also have a mixture of natural colors like the gold in the GI that I was showing you. And so those colors will stay in your hair because the gold is a natural color found in nature. So the molecules are small, they go on the interior of your hair and they stay. Meanwhile, your toning colors that you need to keep it cool can wash out really easy. That's why toners wash out so often and frequently. So, and that's what makes it nice that you can have a take-home shampoo and you can do it yourself. But that's what's happening with the toners. Now, the thing about it is, when you're toning on color. But if you lighten the hair high enough to higher, then you're going to make it a little bit darker, but without as much warmth in it. That is still considered toning in essence because you're changing the tone aggressively, but those are technically called glazes. So again, they're semi-permanent. They're low alkaline hair color, so they don't open the cuticle as much as permanent color, and then of course they wash out a little bit. So I do want to show you an example. I'll place a picture here, and this is what her hair looked like right after we bleached it. And you can see it has that raw yellow to it. Sometimes it looks good. Sometimes that's the color you're looking for, and that's fine too. But more times than not, it's nice to even if you tweak it a little bit, just to make it more congruent and kind of like clean up that like yellowy undertone. And I did go a little darker on her, so it's more of a glaze for the 7MB, and this is what it ended up with, which one it ended up looking really pretty. So anyway, I hope that answers your questions. If you have any other questions about it, of course you can let me know. And if you need to get some purple shampoo for toning out your yellow, I do sell that it's on my page too. I'll link that down below. So I hope that answered your questions. It's kind of a complicated topic for sure, but it certainly is interesting.